In the dense, lush jungles of India, there lived a leopard named Rohan. With his sleek, golden coat dotted with dark rosettes and his piercing green eyes, Rohan was a majestic sight to behold. However, unlike other leopards who preferred solitude, Rohan felt a deep sense of loneliness. Despite his strength and agility, he longed for companionship, but his reputation as a fierce predator kept other animals at a distance. One crisp morning, Rohan was prowling near a watering hole when he heard a distressing sound, a faint, pitiful cry. Guided by his keen senses, he followed the sound to a small clearing where he found a young deer trapped in a hunter's snare. The deer's eyes were wide with fear, and it struggled helplessly to free itself. Rohan's first instinct was to see the deer as prey, but something stopped him. He saw the desperation in the deer's eyes and remembered his own feelings of isolation. Moving slowly to avoid startling the deer, Rohan used his powerful jaws to gnaw through the ropes of the snare, setting the deer free. The young deer, though initially terrified, soon realized that Rohan meant no harm. "Thank you," it said timidly. "My name is Arjun. Why did you help me?" Rohan smiled softly. "Everyone deserves kindness," he replied. "Go back to your herd and be safe." Word of Rohan's unexpected act of kindness spread quickly through the jungle. The other animals, previously wary of him, began to see Rohan in a new light. Though he was a predator, his heart was not devoid of compassion. As days turned into weeks, Rohan continued his acts of kindness. He helped a family of monkeys retrieve their stolen food from a band of thieving crows, and he guided a lost porcupine back to its den. Each act of benevolence built a bridge of trust between Rohan and the other jungle inhabitants. Despite these efforts, there were still those who remained skeptical. The elder of the jungle, a wise old elephant named Kavi, called a meeting to discuss Rohan's actions. The animals gathered under the ancient banyan tree, whispering amongst themselves. "Why is Rohan doing this?" a wary boar asked. "What if it's just a trick to lure us into a false sense of security?" Kavi raised his trunk for silence. "Rohan has shown us kindness," he said slowly. "We should judge him by his actions, not our fears." The animals murmured in agreement, though doubt still lingered in some hearts. Rohan, who had been watching from a distance, felt a mix of hope and apprehension. He understood their hesitation, but was determined to prove his sincerity. Over time, Rohan's patience and kindness began to win over even the most doubtful creatures. He spent his days not only hunting for himself, but also protecting the weaker animals from threats. He saved a young rabbit from a hungry hawk and helped a turtle reach the safety of a riverbank. Each deed chipped away at the wall of mistrust. One fateful summer, the jungle faced an unprecedented drought. The rivers and streams dried up, and the once lush vegetation withered under the relentless sun. The animals were desperate for water, and tensions ran high. Conflicts over scarce resources threatened to tear the community apart. In the midst of this crisis, Rohan called for a council meeting. The animals, weakened and anxious, gathered reluctantly. "We need to work together," Rohan urged. "If we share what little we have and support each other, we can survive this drought." His words were met with skepticism. "Why should we listen to you?" A grumpy hyena snarled. "You're a predator. You only look out for yourself." Rohan stood tall, his eyes filled with determination. "I have changed," he said firmly. "Let my actions speak for themselves. I propose we form a search party to find water. I will lead the way." After much debate, a group of animals agreed to follow Rohan. Among them were Kavi, Arjun, and a clever otter named Mira. They ventured deep into the jungle, searching for any sign of water. Rohan used his keen senses to track potential sources, guiding the group tirelessly. Days turned into weeks, and their hope began to wane. But Rohan refused to give up. One evening, as the sun set in a blaze of red and gold, Rohan caught a faint scent of moisture in the air. He led the group to a hidden valley where a small, pristine spring bubbled up from the ground. The animals drank deeply, their relief palpable. "You saved us, Rohan," Kavi said, his voice filled with gratitude. "We owe you our lives." Rohan smiled, feeling a warmth in his heart that he had never known before. "We saved each other," he replied. "Together we can overcome any challenge." The drought eventually ended, and the jungle began to recover. The animals, united by their shared hardships, now looked to Rohan as a leader and protector. However, their newfound peace was threatened by an unexpected danger. A group of human poachers had entered the jungle, setting traps and hunting indiscriminately. Rohan, with his sharp senses and stealth, took it upon himself to protect his home. He patrolled the jungle, dismantling traps and warning the other animals of danger. One night, he overheard the poachers planning to capture Kavi, whose magnificent tusks were highly prized. Rohan knew he had to act quickly. He gathered a group of brave animals, including Arjun, Mira, and a fierce tigress named Tara. Together, they devised a plan to drive the poachers away. Using their unique strengths and abilities, they set up a series of diversions and traps to confuse and scare the intruders. As the poachers ventured deeper into the jungle, they found themselves surrounded by a cacophony of roars, growls, and screeches. Rohan and his allies struck swiftly, destroying their equipment and driving them towards a narrow ravine. Cornered and terrified, the poachers had no choice but to flee. The animals celebrated their victory, but Rohan knew the threat was not entirely gone. "We must remain vigilant," he warned. "Our unity is our greatest strength. Together we can protect our home." With the poachers driven away and the jungle safe once more, life began to return to normal. The animals, now united by bonds of trust and friendship, thrived under Rohan's watchful eye. He continued to lead by example, showing kindness and compassion to all. The once solitary predator had become the heart of the jungle, a symbol of strength through benevolence. One sunny morning, as Rohan rested under a banyan tree, he was approached by a delegation of animals. Among them were Kavi, the wise old elephant; Arjun, the young deer whose life he had saved; Mira, the clever otter; and Tara, the fierce tigress who had fought alongside him. They had come to express their gratitude and to honor Rohan for his leadership. "Rohan," Kavi began, his voice resonant with emotion, "you have brought great change to our jungle. Your kindness has transformed us all. You have shown us that even in the face of danger, compassion is our greatest strength." Arjun stepped forward, his eyes shining with admiration. "When you saved me, you taught me that even those who seem the most fearsome can have the kindest hearts. You've inspired us to look out for one another, to see beyond our fears and prejudices." Mira, always practical and insightful, added, "Thanks to you, we've learned that unity is our best defense. Together, we can overcome any challenge. You've made us a true community." Tara, fierce yet protective, nodded in agreement. "You showed me that even the strongest can benefit from allies. Your bravery and kindness have earned you respect and loyalty. We stand by you, Rohan." Rohan listened, his heart swelling with pride and contentment. He had found the companionship he had longed for, and more importantly, he had found a purpose. "I have learned as much from all of you," he replied. "True strength lies not in power or fear, but in compassion and unity. We are all connected, and by helping each other, we help ourselves." As the days turned into months and the seasons changed, the jungle flourished under this new era of cooperation and mutual respect. The animals worked together to ensure that everyone had enough food and water, and they remained vigilant against any threats. The bonds they had forged during the drought and the struggle against the poachers grew stronger with each passing day. One evening, as the sun set in a blaze of colors, casting a golden glow over the lush canopy, the animals gathered to celebrate their newfound unity. They danced and sang, sharing stories of bravery and kindness. In the center of the gathering, Rohan sat surrounded by his friends, his heart filled with joy. The story of Rohan, the kind-hearted leopard, spread far and wide, becoming a legend among animals beyond the jungle. It was a tale told by parents to their young, a story of how compassion could turn even the fiercest predator into a beloved leader. As the stars twinkled overhead, Rohan looked around at the faces of the animals he had come to know and love. He knew that his journey had not been an easy one, but it had been worth every step. He had found not just friends, but a family. The jungle, once divided by fear and mistrust, now stood united, a testament to the power of kindness and the enduring legacy of Rohan. The kind-hearted leopard who taught everyone the true meaning of strength and community had indeed ushered in a new dawn. And so, under the starlit sky, with the sounds of celebration echoing through the trees, Rohan closed his eyes and smiled, knowing that the jungle was a better place because of the love and compassion they all shared.